everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today here on the Daily Antidote of Song. I believe we might be on day 2,100 and I'm going to forget, 42, I think, or something. Someone might cue me. Yeah, I got it. Okay. 2,142 consecutive days of singing here in the Daily Antidote of Song. So glad that you've joined us today from wherever you are and in whatever shape you're in coming into the room today. And we hope that by being here, you'll feel just a little bit better after you leave today than you felt coming in. And I want to thank everybody out there on the live stream for joining us. That's all the folks out there on Facebook, hello, and all the folks out there on YouTube, hello. And I love seeing all of these faces smiling in the room. Can everybody just smile and wave at each other? I see a bunch of different states. I see at least 3 different countries. It's great to have you all here. And I see some new folks. Hello to the new folks who are in the room today. All right, everybody, how about if we take a deep breath? We are here in our Love, Justice, and Black History Month celebration. That's kind of the month of February. We'll be thinking about a lot of this stuff, especially love and justice these days when both do not seem to be in not our necessarily, in our global conscience enough. And so here we are focused on trying to sing for justice, sing for love, and contribute as we can to trying to make our world a little bit of a better place, and especially for folks who really need us as allies. And so I would like to thank Gavin Mendonca, who's new in the room today with us and who is joining us from New York, and who just brought us in with that absolutely amazing opening sound. I have to say, it was the first time I quite felt while I'm here in the Daily Antidote song as though I might be singing in the zone of my old radio station, college radio station, punk rock kind of days. And it was a really nice feeling of a homecoming. So I'm super looking forward to singing with Gavin. So I met Gavin at Folk Alliance this year in New Orleans. And I met him because Colleen Katow asked if she might borrow his drum for her song when she sang in the Daily. And Gavin graciously lent the drum. So you all have not formally met Gavin exactly. You certainly never heard him sing, but you did get a chance to wave to him on the screen. He did pop on and give a little wave, and we thanked him for the lend. So Gavin is putting out into the world his own special blend of musical style, which he has named Creole Rock. And he is fusing the traditions of Guyanese folk music with the Guyanese dialect and punk rock. So hence the little sound we heard coming in the room that many of us from generations ago might have recognized. And Gavin is originally from Guyana, and I think he's going to teach us a bit about Guyana. But I think he's going to open right now by teaching us his first song. Gavin, welcome. We're excited to learn our part of your first song. Thanks for being here.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I first must say that it's such a privilege to be part of this platform and the way the universe brought me to it. Because I was just randomly strolling through the halls of Folk Alliance International, playing my djembe as I walked through, and I heard someone calling, "Hey you, hey you!" And this woman came running behind me, "Hey, can I borrow your djembe tomorrow?" I said, "Sure, why not?" and that brought me to all of you. So it's, again, such a privilege to be here. So the first song I'm about to play is a traditional Guyanese folk song. It's called Norah Darlin. So in Guyana, we speak English is our official language, but we speak Creolese, which is very broken English. It's a fusion of our indigenous language, because indigenous people were there first in the Amazon, and then a couple of European languages came, including Dutch, French, and English. Of course, we had West Africa bring across their language, as well as East India. So we're this amazing melting pot of cultures and languages and traditions, and it's all reflected in the song I'm about to sing. So Norah Darlin is a love song to your love, this case being Norah, and it's about loving her so much that you wish you could just sleep a little bit longer in the morning, but she loves you so much that she wants you to help her with her errands and her chores. So it's about the desire to stay asleep, but needing to wake up because you have to help the one that you love. So the verses kind of come and go randomly, but the chorus, and you learn a bit of the Guyanese dialect here. So, for example, instead of saying darling, we'd say darlin. We don't pronounce the G, for example. So the chorus goes like this. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Sorry. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Don't wake me for the morning, girl. Don't wake me for the morning. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Everybody think they got that? Alright, so you all ready? And it's pick up. We start a little slow, but then we can get a little ruckus, yeah? Alright. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Don't wake me for the morning, girl. Don't wake me for the morning. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. No! And the chorus again. Oh, ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Don't you wake me for the morning, girl. Don't wake me for the morning. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Me gon' give you one pressure cooker. Me gon' give you one diamond ring, girl. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Don't wake me for the morning, girl. Don't wake me for the morning. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Me gon' give you a fancy bed, girl. Me gon' give you one diamond ring, girl. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Me gon' give you fancy furniture. Me gon' give you one pressure cooker. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Don't you wake me for the morning, girl. Don't wake me for the morning. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Ah, Norah Darlin, don't you wake me for the morning. Thank you.
Woo! Thank you so much, Gavin. That was so much fun to sing, and you have lifted my spirits immensely into the universe of joy. And I wanted it to keep going, I have to say. As I realized you were ending, I was like, no, not yet. I could have sung it at least another 3 times through. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You want to tell us a little bit more about that song and anything you want to share about it?
Yeah, so usually I would be accompanied by my bandmate Chucky, who's a djembe player. So I actually learned to play djembe through him. So a lot of our folk songs revolve around, really and truly, a lot of our folk songs are from West Africa, and then we have another set of folk songs are from East India, and then we blend them together with rhythm. So sometimes I might play with a tabla player or a dolak player or a djembe player. And it's so amazing how these cultures could come together through music. So usually there'd be a djembe player, and yeah, we could go on and on and on, just rocking out, just jamming out. So a couple of years ago, more than a couple of years ago, in 2019, I started really getting more in touch with cultural identity. Because I was a rock musician. I started a punk rock band back home in Guyana. I play bass in a heavy metal band as well. But as a rock musician, I wanted to ensure that I stayed true to identity. Because people would always say, hey, you sound like Blink 182, you sound like Green Day, you sound like the Ramones, but I wanted to sound like me. And that's when I realized that if I sing the same way as talk, like a Guyanese, then it's Guyanese rock and roll. So that's when I started to do covers of Guyanese folk songs, and I realized the similarities between our folk music and punk rock. One, the chord structures. A lot of them is just 1 4 5 and everything in between. And then also a lot of the folk songs is about rebellion, is about sneaking through the sugarcane fields, when you're not supposed to, etc. So I found a book of 100 Guyanese folk songs, and I started to learn them with Chucky, who is a traditional African spiritual drummer for 40 plus years. So through him, I was able to, again, just get in touch with my identity. And I started traveling the world, taking Guyanese folk songs to places it has never been before, including Folk Alliance International. Your Roots are showing in Ireland, Dubai Expo, Beijing Expo. I've taken Guyanese folk music to about 16 countries over the last 6 years. And I'm so proud to be a cultural ambassador to my country. Norah Darling is especially special because it's one of the first folk songs that I learned and could identify with, again, because of the punk rock nature. It's like you won't sleep, but you gotta wake up. Um, and Chucky and I actually started to record a series of albums called Folk It Up. So in 2019, we did Folk It Up Volume 1, and then later on, we did Folk It Up Volume 2. And then in 2022, we actually went into the rainforest in a place in Guyana called Iwakurama. It's a preserved, pristine, untouched section of our rainforest that we protect. So we went into the rainforest to record a live album. That's Folk It Up Volume 3, live in the Iwakurama rainforest, which is available on all streaming platforms, because we wanted to, again, maintain identity through our music. So we decided to ditch the traditional studio and just go into the rainforest and record music there. And that's why on my shirt, I'm wearing the mighty harpy eagle, which is one of the national birds of Guyana, native to the Amazon rainforest. So we're lucky that Guyana is part of South America and we could identify with the indigenous people of the Amazon rainforest, but we also identify with the Caribbean because we're part of CARICOM, the Caribbean community, and culturally we're more associated with the Caribbean. And that's why you could hear a little bit of soca, calypso vibe in our folk music as well.
Wow, amazing. Gavin, thank you so much. That is such a great learning journey. And, I wasn't thinking about this when we started or when we were in sound check, but we basically started this week. We were singing with Mumbayachi in Zambia, Africa. And we started this week thinking and talking about identity and borders. So it's a really nice circle right now to be coming around and talking about these similar things with you. And we spoke with Mumba about sort of the way that things are shifting and changing in the world right now, and the kind of impact that has on things like identity and borders. And it's amazing to see the ways that you are working so hard to bring your personal identity into your music and be a cultural ambassador. And I kind of feel like that's the sort of shared language of the world right now, is actually learning and seeing the humanity in all of us, including incorporating our different ways of being in the world and our different roots. And I'd love for you to chat for a minute, if you would, just about sort of how you're processing stuff right now in the world.
hmm Well, my shift in consciousness started a long time ago, because in Guyana, it's very hard being a creative. It's very hard being somebody who wants to follow their dream as a professional, and to make a career out of it. So since I started a punk rock band way back in 2011, I had to approach my life with a different mindset. Because in Guyana, it's very limiting. It's like really, we're literally living in a box and we can't even think outside of it because we have no idea what exists outside the box. So I had to start getting innovative since then. Um, which is why, as I evolved, I started to tie culture in as well. Because again, I realized that I have a unique, first of all, from a human experience, I have a unique perspective of being a rock musician from Guyana. But then from the marketing perspective, I also have a unique niche where I'm the only Guyanese that is part of these groups. I travel the world, and I went to Sweden and to perform, and whoa, a Guyanese? Where is Guyana? In Africa? No, it's in South America. um, so the pandemic came in 2020, and you know, things started to get rough once again. So I was traveling the world, and I had to go back home. And I had all these plans to tour to Australia, to go to Folk Alliance again. I had just come back from Folk Alliance in New Orleans, barely made it home in time, and the world shut down. And for somebody who felt like I was now unlocking my dreams, it was devastating. So I had so much free time on my hands and thoughts of what I should be doing. And you'd notice the leaves on the side of my screen, and I put it there because I started gardening as soon as the lockdown started. I never gardened in my life before, but I just had an empty backyard where my dogs used to run, enough to start a nice garden. And I started gardening. And now gardening is a big part of my life. I cannot garden. Even while I'm here in New York, I help my partner and her mom to set up a little garden space by the window. Even as it's winter time, we got a snake plant growing, we got some peace lilies, we got some pothos. So gardening allowed me to reground myself and to reconnect with myself, because I realized that as I was traveling, I was always projecting outwards. I was always trying to impress you out there and to share with you that I was neglecting myself and my loved ones. So through gardening, I was able to come back to self and realign and find new purpose in being who I am so that I could better serve others through the work I am doing. So it started with the pandemic for me, and gardening allowed me to open my mindscape and to be nicer to myself and to be nicer to others.
Oh, wow. That is completely precious. Thank you, Gavin. Can we please thank Gavin for all the personal sharing? Because I'm really enjoying this conversation, and I'd love to just keep on going and going. I have to say, I really love when, when the sort of the words and the symbols and the visuals all match. So there you are talking about how you're in a box and you have to break out of a box, and you are sitting on a screen right now with a little box around you, and your guitar is outside of the box, right? Like, so your music is breaking out of the box that you've even visually made right now. It's a great, great combination of things. Can you tell us just a quick bit about what you've got out there in the world that people can find musically and otherwise?
So my dreams, all of my wildest dreams have come true because I use I meditate a lot. I use the law of attraction. I believe in always doing the best that you could do and service to others, and that the universe will reward you accordingly. So I spoke about starting a punk rock band way back. I had to travel solo for most of my career just because it's easier to do, especially from Guyana. It's so expensive to get to the rest of the world. So last year, I was able to check the last box off my list. I was able to take my full band on tour to Your Roots Are Showing, which is a conference just like Folk Alliance. It's in Ireland. So last year, we were able to go to Killarney with my full band, myself, Chucky and his son on djembe, my bass player from Trinidad, and my drummer from Guyana. So we were able to really deliver Creole rock for the very first time. And it was amazing. It was mind blowing. And through gardening, I was able to find being content with the simplest of things. I don't need to keep doing it, keep searching. I found it. And I also read a book called The Alchemist, which gave me perspective that all the treasure that we search for outside already exists within. So to show my gratitude to Your Roots Are Showing, after performing there last year, I actually volunteered with them this year. So I was their technical coordinator. I was in Belfast right before Folk Alliance International. So last year, when I took the band on tour, we ended up in London. We did a few gigs, and I have a close friend who plays the steel pan who joined us on tour. He's a professor at the University of Surrey in Guildford. So he invited us there, and we actually recorded a live album at the University of Surrey. So I'm currently still working on it. The first single, Mahnin Neighbor Mahnin, which is a Guyanese folk song in the style of Creole Rock, we released it last year, and I'm currently completing the album so that we could take it on tour later this year. We have a tour planned in September around Ireland. So that's currently in the works, and you could find information on social media at Creole Rock on YouTube, creolerock.music, and on Spotify and all the major streaming platforms. If you search Creole Rock, you'll find that. Also, if you search Gavin and Chucky, Chucky, you'll find our acoustic folk albums. I also work back home with children. Chucky has a drumming school where he teaches for free his community traditional African drumming in efforts to, again, contribute to the preservation of traditional African drumming in Guyana. So I'm also I got some funding from ABRSM and their Play On Fund. In June, I'll be heading into the Rupununi, which is indigenous land in Guyana, to stay with a Makushi village. Makushi is one of our indigenous languages, and I'll be recording their folk songs, again, to help them preserve their folk songs, because, the young people are leaving, and we need to contribute to keeping traditional folk music alive, I believe. So that's my upcoming projects.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Gavin. That is so cool sounding. And I'm super hopeful we're going to get to meet Chucky in here at some point, get to have you back in here after those projects are complete so we can hear more about them. And thank you so much for being here, for sharing all of this about your music and about your world. We've got links in the chat here in the Zoom and also out there on Facebook and on YouTube. Go ahead and follow Gavin's socials and keep up with him. I can't wait to hear more. I did some listening to some of your albums, but now I'm really excited to go back in and specifically hear the distinctions between some of the different things that you've taught us in here today. So everybody, can we please all give it up for Gavin? That was really super. Gavin, I know you have a second song for us. Wondering if you can tell us a little bit about it and then teach us our part so we can sing it with you.
Yeah, so this next song is very relevant to everything I've just said. It's an original song that I wrote right after the pandemic when I started gardening. So I started gardening, and apparently I have very green thumbs. So all of the first seeds that I sowed germinated, and those included common vegetables back home that we eat, pak choy, and spinach that we call kalaloo, eggplant, which we call balanje, and I started to grow sunflowers. I do believe that I'm one of the first folks in Guyana to grow sunflowers, and I was able to grow small sunflowers, bushy sunflowers, and giant sunflowers 14 feet tall. And that really gave me hope and inspiration that, hey, I might be stuck in the dirt, literally, but by applying myself and by having a dream that I could put into one seed, care for that seed, nurture that seed, that one seed could turn into 100 flowers and keep producing plants for me. So really and truly, there's nothing to worry about. There's abundance all around us. We just need to realize it and tap into it. And the same thing goes for happiness. Happiness is not some goal that we need to chase after. Happiness already exists right inside of us. So after gardening, I felt so inspired. I sat down with my guitar in the garden and I started strumming. I came up with a little riff and I wrote a song called Everything Gon Be Alright. So the way we'd say the word gun, Gon, gun, like it gon be alright. And that's our Creolese there. So this song is straight from the garden. And I might be in New York right now, but I still live in Guyana. I actually head back home on Tuesday. I came to New York after Folk Alliance International so that I could spend time with my partner who lives here in New York. I'm sure to catch Valentine's Day. Again, because who are we if we don't have just someone to share love with and to receive love from? And it could be ourselves, it could be our plants, it could be our pets. I see a couple of folks with plants behind them, right next to them, and that's so beautiful. So this song is called Everything Gon Be Alright, and the chorus is very simple. So everything Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything is gonna be alright now. Everything is gonna be alright. Yeah? Everybody got it? So everything gonna be alright. Wake up every morning with the sun in my face, stretching out and yawning. Just like the fowl cock on my neighbor fence, no need to be bawling. Just take your sweet time and go through the day, no matter what morning. Always wake up with a big smile and say, everything's gonna be alright now. Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything is gonna be alright now. Everything is gonna be alright. And if you got some shakers nearby, or you just want to clap along, then go for it. I know you might lapse lil and forget to take out the bin, or sometimes you're falling and you feel like you can't get up. But don't worry your little self, rise up, rub off your bungie. Some people might laugh at you, that's alright, you should be laughing to sing. Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything is gonna be alright now. Everything is gonna be alright now. It gonna be alright now. It gonna be alright now. It gonna be alright now. Hey Chucky! This is where Chucky would do a djembe solo. And you hear his spirit. Wake up every morning with the sun in my face, stretching out and yawning. Just like the fowl cock on my neighbor fence, no need to be bawling. Just take your sweet time and go through the day, no matter what morning. Always wake up with a big smile and say, I know you might lapse lil and forget to take out the bin, or sometimes you're falling and you feel like you can't get up. But don't worry your little self, rise up, rub off your bungie. Some people might laugh at you, but that's alright, you should be laughing to sing. Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything is gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything is gonna be alright now. Everything is gonna be alright. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gavin. You have made my day, I have to say. Thank you for all of the joy, for all of the thoughtful conversation. I love the way that you are equating taking care of yourself and taking care of others and that sense of responsibility in the world. The gardening, the sunflowers, all of it. I didn't think it could get any better. And then he started talking about food words. And I was like, okay, now I'm in heaven. Like we've covered all my favorite turfs. Thank you so much, Gavin, for all the great work you're doing in the world, for being an ambassador for your culture, for coming in here and teaching us so much, and for singing with us. We can't wait to sing with you again. Everybody, please throw it up for Gavin. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Gavin, you've been an incredible, huge plus to this year's Love, Justice, and Black History Week. For anybody who missed any of it, please go back and check out Mumbiachi, who came in from Zambia, Kim Harris, who came in from California, Alastair Mook in Massachusetts, Matt Watroba in Detroit, Michigan, Charlie King also in Massachusetts. Beautiful Valentine's Day yesterday with Melanie Demore, who kind of like Gavin just manages to say all the right things. So check out yesterday if you missed it. Melanie came in from California. And Gavin, of course, today coming in from New York, who is oftentimes in Guyana. And we do maybe hope that we'll get to see Gavin there also at some point. That would be super fun. Gavin, what time would it be right now in Guyana?
We're 1 hour ahead of New York.
1 hour ahead of New York. So, yeah, totally reasonable that we might find you. All right. I just want to say we haven't got a flyer yet together for this week, but we are going to be singing tomorrow with Jordan Smart, who is going to be joining us from Kentucky. You all also met Jordan Smart at the Folk Alliance. He sang with us on the very first day, brand new to us. Tomorrow will be his first day, having a whole day with us. And Jordan is very outspoken about the stuff that's going on now in the world. So we look forward to that. We're also going to sing this coming week with new to us Vienna Carroll, who I also met at Folk Alliance, with Diane White Clayton, who's bringing back her peace song and some very exciting developments about it. Kemp Harris, new to us. We might have a lot of us seen him in concert virtually with Alastair Mook the other night, so he'll have his own day in here. Armand Airman, sing with us out of Rhode Island on Friday. Lisa Dosher out of the UK on Saturday. And new to us, Sarah Angeli, who I also met at Folk Alliance, little theme there. So we hope that the rest of you can all join us for this whole upcoming week. Reminder that we have a Daily Antidote meetup today. I think it's 3 p.m. Tret Fury and Charlie King will be singing subversive love songs for Valentine's Day. It's a Zoom virtual meetup, so please join there if you can. I would love it if everybody would help thank Gavin one more time. Gavin Mendonca, thank you so much. Everybody, please help me wave to everybody on the live stream. Thanks so much, gang out there. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow on the Daily Antidote of